All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, traders. It is Sunday, November 27th, 2016. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you guys are tuning in for your first time, my name is David Schinkel. I am the CEO and founder of Positive Traders. I run a trading group just to help other people out and kind of basically achieve the same type of financial freedom that I've been able to achieve. And so I do this webinar every single Sunday for free. I go over all of these pairs that you guys see on the right. We also take a look at the economic calendar. But every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, you guys can tune in. We post the link on our Facebook, our Telegram, all over the place. So we don't want anybody to miss it. And then, as I mentioned a few moments ago, all of these are recorded up and uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. You can just YouTube Positive Traders and our whole channel will come up, and you can. So if you guys are just new and getting into Forex, there's a bunch of all sorts of levels of trainings, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and they're just interweaved with the webinars. Some are even labeled as a private, or as a learning, like as an actual educational webinar for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at the economic calendar first, guys. You guys know that's what we always do. This week's pretty, sporadic, just like normal, guys. There's always some type of high impact news generally, right? This week, it's all throughout the week. We aren't going to go over every single one, but I do want to point out two. Tomorrow, we do have the European Central Bank, the head of that, Mario Draghi. He's going to be speaking tomorrow. That should be a market mover for Euro pairs. Okay, so we'll watch Euro USD tomorrow. And then more importantly, Friday, guys, this is probably what you guys are hearing a lot of people talk about. If you guys don't know about non-farm payroll, it happens on the first Friday of every single month. And to put it simply, it's a measurement of how many jobs have been added in the U.S. All right. You guys can see if you guys use forexfactory.com, which is what this calendar is here. You guys will know that the right-hand side is the previous and the middle is the expectations for the coming. And then this will pop up, with the actual results once it comes out. It is forecasted to be stronger than last month for the dollar. Our average hourly earnings is down 0.2%, but it's forecasted to come out down 0.2%. But there were a couple thousand extra jobs added, and unemployment rate remains at 4.9%. That's the expectation. So generally speaking, that should have a pretty positive tone on the dollar. But you guys know I'm not a news trader. I don't recommend trading NFP. Trade it on a demo account if you want. Trade it, with $100 account if you want, but don't be risking, thousands and thousands of dollars trying to make it make a quick buck on Friday, guys. I don't really recommend that style of trading. Long term also, right? Because you can get lucky, right? Because the problem is, guys, if you get lucky one time, right, or you get lucky two times, right, you aren't going to be able to predict the direction of NFP every single time 100% of the time, right? So if you do it one time and then you end up getting lucky and you end up making some money, then you probably will get something in your head that you can trade NFP every single month. And I'm not going to knock it. There are people that trade NFP but and make a living off of it, but I would say that that's no better than like being at like a roulette table, right? And putting all your money on red or black, right? And saying, it's going to go up or down essentially, right? I don't condone that style of trading. So don't trade NFP, but be aware of it. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's look at the pairs, guys. So you guys know, we start at the top, we go all the way down. So we'll look at gold first. I've been talking about gold moving into the 1180s. I have a lower target, right? I'm saying my long-term target is still going to be lower at 1150. But you guys know before it dropped, we talked about last week a couple different structures that broke. You guys can see them marked off right here. All right, two perfect structures. And we talked about how the market tells you a story, right? It tells you what it's going to do. It repeats itself. So this week, and you guys know, if you guys are just learning trading, just learning Forex, then you won't know. But if you guys have been trading Forex for a long time, then you'll know that this year in particular, or this time of year in this year in particular in 2016 has been pretty intense. We haven't, especially with the elections, right? Those only happen once every 4 years. So we've seen the markets make some big moves in the past couple weeks. So I am going to expect a retracement, guys, except and it just depends. We have to look at momentum, right? It's kind of hard on a Sunday just to judge which I can't say, I think some weeks I can, right? Last week I was very confident, gold's going to keep going down. USD Jappy is going to skyrocket. We caught 300 pip or I closed early with 250 pips. Some of you guys caught the full 300 on the GBP Jappy trade. We made a ton of money last week. But that being said, we don't want to jump into this week head first like we did or feet first like we did last week. We want to kind of be careful just because, and we want to read the momentum. We want to see what kind of formations and what sort of structure set up, because like even right now, you guys can see the pullbacks happening. Pullbacks are happening on pairs pretty quickly. So my area of interest, guys, is I'm looking to sell again around 1200, and then we'll target 1150. But again, don't just automatically put in, and you have to kind of take this analysis with a grain of salt. You have to do your own analysis too. Don't just put a sell limit at 1200 and just take my word for it and then leave it, right? Because especially with gold, it might spike up higher and then you're going to be in a pretty big drawdown. So this is just the area. So when I say I'm looking to sell around 1200, it doesn't mean that I'm going to sell. It means that I'm going to look at what sort of structure. I'm going to look at price action. I'm going to see what's going on the 4 hour, what's going on the 1 hour. If we're breaking significant levels of resistance and what's happening, or if we're seeing rejections at resistance levels. It really depends on what the candles do and what price does, guys. And I know that can sound cliche, but you have to adapt to the market. You can't just predict, where it's going to go down at. You have to know. You have to, especially on Sundays, guys, you have to be able to wait for structures to happen. But we've been trading gold perfectly, guys. We've been looking at it. We talked about before it even moved down to here. Let's look at the extension. We talked about that this was our target for gold. Okay. Still, when we were up here, right, we had this extension played out. We talked about the 1180 level as being our next key level, and now we're here. Okay. If you guys look at price action, if you just look at what the actual candles are doing on the daily candle, or I'm sorry, on the daily time frame, it looks like we're going to see a small reversal, right? We had a big impulse down. All right. We had a doji. That's neutral. It doesn't necessarily signal anything, but it does signal that the sellers have lost a little bit of control and now the buyers are coming in. So if this daily candle can close bullish, then we'll look for it to move a little bit higher, possibly above 1200, maybe move up into this zone before selling again. Now, also, guys, there are things in the markets you guys have to understand. You guys should definitely be aware of news happening too. If you guys don't know, the Clinton campaign has launched like this whole thing to do a recount, all right, for the elections. So that can cause a lot of uncertainty, right? So everything might be pointed to the downside, but at the end of the day, gold is treated as a safe haven. So if there suddenly is this indecision about who might be the next president, and all of a sudden it might be Clinton and it's not for sure Trump anymore, then that could cause a spike in gold, right? A very quick rise in gold, because investors won't know where to put their money, but they know, you'll see USD Jappy go down because yen is also treated as a safe haven currency. But not to go off on too much of a tangent, but yeah, so be careful with that, guys. People talk about the technicals and the fundamentals. Fundamentals definitely move the market long term. And then, of course, things like the elections, there is going to be big market moving things that, you have to listen to. You can't just always be 100% technical. You have to definitely listen to the fundamentals once in a while, or have that as a part of your strategy. So look for a pullback on gold ultimately, and then sell. Now, if something comes out in the news, right, and all of a sudden, like, Clinton is the next president or something like that, then, none of this analysis, then we're on standby mode, guys. Dollar index, guys, broke major resistance. Okay. This is the daily on the dollar index. We broke this major resistance zone. Okay. From this double top. And now we're pulling back down towards it. All right, this is a classic move of the markets, guys. Remember, nothing moves straight up and nothing moves straight down. Markets move in waves and they move in retests, all sorts of, however you want to say it, waves, retests. It's really up to you. But markets go up and then they come down. They go up and then now it looks like it's going to be coming down, back down to test the 150 level. And then it's going to continue. Ultimately, I think we're still going to go reach the 103 level. All right, we still have very bullish momentum on the dollar. Euro dollar, same similar deal, just like the opposite of the dollar index, right? If you guys are new to this, if you guys are new to trading and you guys don't use this basket, this dollar index, this is a huge asset, okay? This is a good kind of indicator or a guide, if you will, of like a pulse, if you will, of like the whole market, because the dollar pretty much moves everything. All right. So that being said, when you look at the euro dollar, it's going to look the complete opposite of the dollar index. And yes, last week we broke this major level, this major trend line. All right. Now this isn't too significant. What's more significant is the actual low that we have at 104.50 marked off on this green zone. Now, I still think that we're going to get down there, and ultimately we should move into parity. Again, if everything still moves and Trump remains president-elect and nothing goes too crazy on the fundamental side, I believe that we'll still ultimately see parity for the euro dollar in 2017 or early 2017. But right now, like I said, guys, just like with the dollar index, the market's moving in waves, right? They go down and then they go up. They go down and then it looks like it's going to come up. Now, when we look at where it might come up to, okay, obviously you can mark just traditional levels of support. Now you can get in with fib and you can see like the 50% level, for instance, which is confluence with this area. If you guys know my style of trading, right, I do use Fibonacci in my style of trading. I think Fibonacci is very effective, especially because most of trading nowadays is done based on algorithms, and Fibonacci uses algorithms to determine its levels, right? That's how you have these 50% levels, 61.8, 38.2, 23.6. Other people use other ones. These are just the standard ones that come in. There's another good level is 70.7. There's all sorts of levels that you'll see the market respect, but I just keep it simple, guys. Just use the standard ones. And I like the 50% level. You'll see a lot of times markets will respect the 50% level time and time again. I think it's a key level, not to diss any of the other levels, but 50% is the strongest in my opinion. So we can remove this. That's kind of like a guide, right? Fibonacci, it's kind of like a guide you can put over your charts and tells you some key levels. So that being said, if we do start to see if this day, right, if this Sunday and this Monday, the next two daily candles that form, if we can't push through this support, all right, then we're probably going to see a pullback, a temporary, not sell off, right? Just not as many people buying the dollar. All right, people just taking profits, closing positions, because you guys have to understand why the markets move, right? The reason Euro USD is moving down is because in the real world, right? Because this obviously is the real world. Some people like forget that, just because it's on a computer, it's like this is based on like real life transactions happening, right? So it's this when this moves down, it's people physically selling euros and people buying dollars, right? Banks exchanging euros and dollars. And but it's all done electronically for you at the click of a button. All right. So when this happens, so essentially what I'm trying to say, guys, is people take profits, right? Big investors catch these big moves. And then the reason it lets up is because there's not as much selling of the euro and not as much buying of the dollar. All right. There's a temporary hold on that. So that's people also taking their profits. So that's why the markets will move up and down in waves. Okay. People don't just hold their positions all the way down, right? They like to secure their money, especially at key levels. That's why you see reversals at key levels, is because investors aren't sure, right? It gets down to this level. Every other investor in the world, right, that does trading for themselves, right? They see Euro USD right here. So they're like, okay, crap, it's at a very significant level. Is it going to keep going? I don't know. So it's profit taking, guys. Hedge funds taking profits, right? For their clients, right? $billion clients. They don't want to take the risk of, they don't know if it's going to keep dropping or if it's going to keep, if it's going to reverse up. So right down here, they take their profits. That's why you'll see price move up. All right. It's something that's imminent, guys. So I'm still long-term buying the dollar, but we're going to see a small pullback. USD chafe, it actually formed a nice evening star. Let's go ahead. I want to show you guys, if you guys don't know about formations, if you guys are new, I use formations a lot. This is a great place to see all of the formations. If you guys go to Baby Pips, great place to go and learn. When I was learning Forex, guys, I literally printed this out, kept it above my desk until it was memorized. All right. And eventually it'll just come second nature. Okay. So you guys can see the evening star that formed at the top right here. It's a very powerful formation, especially on higher time frames, guys. So this could be a little hint right here. You know, looking at all the other pairs, if it's hard to read which way the markets are going, this can kind of help you. So we're going to be looking, I personally am going to be looking for like USD chafe, some key levels of support. We're going to go on a lower time frame. Right, we'll wait for, let me delete this. Sorry, guys. I don't know, my annotator disappeared. If this current daily candle can close below this area of support, then we can temporarily look to sell this pair. Okay, just because it's in an uptrend, you have to, you remember there's that saying I always say, guys, you know, you have to trade what you see, not what you want to happen, right? We want price to go up, and ultimately long term, I think it will go up. But with such a big move, guys, such a big move up, such a big rally, we have to see some sort of an exhaustion. All right. So don't be surprised if we see price pull all the way back down to 1 or 99.50 this week. But that being said, right, a lot of people don't like conditional trading, right? They like to be very hard-headed and have one way. Just because I'm saying don't be surprised if it goes down to 1, don't take my word for it, guys. That doesn't necessarily mean just go and sell a USD chafe. I'm personally not even selling USD chafe yet. I need to see more conviction to the downside first. One formation doesn't cut it for me, right? We have this, look at the daily, right? Look at how many days, count how many green days we have, right? How many rally days? And it's insane. You know, you look at it in comparison to the rest of the chart, right? You really don't, anytime you see like a huge rally, we're going to see some sort of pullback. It's imminent, right? But that being said, guys, the pullback doesn't have to happen right here. Just because it looks like it's going to doesn't mean it has to. All right, if we can see this support broken, all right, then we can look to target something like 1 or 99.50, right? Take profit 1 at 100, take profit 2 at 99.50. All right, keep a good risk to reward. But that doesn't mean that it's going to happen, right? This daily candle, this current day, anything could happen right now, right? Right when this webinar ends, we could see price just completely reverse and continue to push up. And then it might come up here, and then we'll start to see a pullback, right? But there is going to be a pullback that happens at some point. Let's look at pound dollar. I think, guys, pound dollar, I think we're going to get our buy on the pound dollar now. I think we're going to get our buy up to this target. If you guys have been following me for at least the past 2 weeks, you guys will know that I've been looking for a buy on pound dollar. We haven't taken one. I've been looking to get one in. And it looks like we might get it if we can break the resistance that we're up towards. So right here, guys, is a key level. Okay. If we can break this resistance, come up, get a retest, and then buy into the 126s. All right. And that will also that should push the pound yen up, but it doesn't have to. You guys know, just because both of these start with the pound, you guys can see, look at the charts. They look completely different. All right. Don't correlation trade GBP USD and GBP JPY. All right. And I'm just going to drop some correlations out there for some of you guys that are watching really quick. You guys know I kind of went over it. Euro USD and USD chafe do the opposite of each other. Okay. And USD chafe and the dollar index will generally follow each other. Okay. I mean, we can look at them, right? You can see how they both look very similar. And you can see how Euro USD and USD chafe pretty much the exact opposite of each other. And gold and USD JAPI, which we'll get down to USD JAPI, but gold and USD JAPI have about a negative 90% correlation, okay? So usually when you see USD JAPI going up, you'll see gold going down or vice versa. All right, so we just talked about pound USD. Let's look at pound yen real quick. Pound yen is at a pretty pivotal area as well. Okay, it could be seeing a temporary pullback. Guys, we've made so much money on this pair. So much money on this pair. On the sells, you know, back a couple months ago, we caught a ton of money, hundreds of pips on the sells. Now we're catching money on the buys. We were primarily having some focus on USD JAPI, right? But last week we saw a perfect opportunity right here in the premium group, right? We called a buy around this area. I called this a buy right here. Okay, when price was right here. I said buy 137.30. I believe our stop was right around here. And our take profit was at 140.30, which was crazy. It moved like right to it. It was insane, guys. So this week, with that being said, with last week having such big moves, just like all the other pairs, we could see a little bit of an exhaustion, a little bit of a reversal this week to possibly retest. Hold on, let me delete this, guys. These are some key levels. All right, you guys will see I always work with the higher time frames as well. And then let's look at the fib too. Here's something key too with pound yen. If you fib out this entire move, okay, from June of 2015, the high that the pound yen made, all the way at almost the 200 level, 196. And then you go to the low, October of this year, the low that's been made at 124. Huge range. Okay. We're seeing, if you guys see the different levels, the 23.6% level is seeing some resistance right now. And that's also, look what else is here, guys. Let me delete the fib just so you guys can look at price action. Look at this giant double top. Giant. I call it giant because it's on the daily, right? When you see something so clean like that, like a double top on the daily, like a good example is right here, guys. Right? Like a double bottom. When you see it so clean, we might see a push down. Whoa. What is going on here? Okay, we'll come back to this pair. That's something's messed up on AUD USD. All right, we'll come back to that pair, guys. NZD USD. This is going to be interesting, guys. I think that the risk to reward on this pair is starting to get eliminated, or good risk to reward, I should say. We talked about this head and shoulders that formed last week. All right, and we broke it. All right, here's our neckline. Here's our neckline that we broke. We actually got like a perfect price action. We broke through it, came up to retest. Now, what's so interesting, guys, what is so crazy is, if some of you guys remember this, when this evening star formed right here, right? After the retest of this, I said, watch this level of support, this 69.80. Don't just sell because we broke the head and shoulders and you see an evening star. And I said, watch, it'd be so crazy if we saw a morning star form. And look at that. It's so crazy. It actually ended up forming a morning star, okay, because of this intense support that we have right here. I've been calling it like that quad bottom, right? We have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So this is a serious level of support that the sellers are having a hard time getting past. All right, the buyers seem to just take control in this area. So that being said, we had 2 targets, right? And that's why you have to be kind of like an if and when trader. You can't have such a hard head. You can't be so adamant to one side or to the upside or the downside. You have to trade based on what is happening in real time. All right, I told you guys, if this support was broken, this will be our target. If this support can't break, then this will be our first target, okay? Up this general zone, right? This area will be our first target. Okay, especially because when it does come back up to retest this, let me delete everything so I'm not confusing you guys. When it comes back to test this line, if and when it does, it's going to see some serious, the sellers are seriously going to come in. So I predict NZD USD is probably going to make a pullback up to this trend line, and then up in here, we'll look for a sell further down. All right, kind of like gold. Remember, guys, I talk about the correlation between NZD USD and AUD USD and gold. All right, you guys definitely do your research, guys. There's a lot of gold mines, and there's a lot of gold that revolves around Australia and New Zealand. If you guys don't know, New Zealand is just off the coast of Australia. Okay, they're right next to each other. So that's why they move very, very similar to each other. I don't know what's going on with AUD USD, guys. I'll try to fix that. Sometimes this happens with the servers, guys, but that's really crazy. Don't, when you guys see something like this, don't think that has actually happened, right? It didn't actually, right? It's not like, don't be like, oh, I should have had a buy-in. I would have made $1 million right there. This isn't a flash crash or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely not. That's just a glitch on the screen or something, guys. I'd be getting like a bunch of calls, and if that was real, guys, every pair would be moving like crazy. So don't get too excited when you see that. USD Jappy, guys, let's move on to this pair. Absolutely insane, right? You guys can see, just take a look at it on the daily. Look at this rally. Look at how powerful this move is. Just look at it in comparison to the rest, right? We haven't seen a rally like that since back in here. Since 2014, November of 2014. And this wasn't even necessarily a rally. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a rally, but I mean, a big move of it came from one day is what I mean. You see, this is a very, very consistent, continuous rally. So that being said, guys, I think that we may see a little bit of exhaustion, just like every other pair, guys. It may set up for a sell opportunity this week. We had a lot of buying opportunities the past couple weeks. I want to show you guys the fib level too, kind of like the pound yen, right? If we fib out the top from June of 2015 to the bottom in July, okay, we broke through the 50% level, and we're talking about our next target long-term. This is long-term, of course, guys, long-term, keep in mind, okay? Might not happen right now. Might not happen right now, might not even happen this week, right? This whole week could be bearish, and we could see a reversal. But ultimately, guys, we're going to see, I believe we'll still see a pull into at least the 61.8%. Okay? Wow, USD CAD too, weird. Let me try reloading my page, guys. Let's see. Okay, there we go. AUD USD still isn't fixed. We'll come back to that one. Okay, let's just at least take care of USD CAD real quick. All right, USD CAD is at a very interesting level, guys. It's at the 50% retracement level. All right, from the high of this year, to the low of this year. All right, very clean. The analysis on this one is very, very clean, guys. I believe if we break the 50% level, that we will see a big rally. All right, and so I think we will break the 50% level, guys. It's been inching further and further up. I think this is its week to pop up. Now, I'm not interested in buying USD CAD until the I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, until the 50% level breaks. All right. Don't just buy it because it is still at what we call a PRZ, guys. It's at a potential reversal zone. It's at the area where, kind of like how I was explaining to you guys earlier, profit taking, right? Investors have been buying USD CAD. There's long-term swing traders that bought USD CAD down in here, right? And they on their charts have the same Fibonacci level, right? 50%. It's pretty common. Okay, computers, algorithms, they all have the 50% level. Retail traders. And so they see this. They don't know if it's going to go through or not. So there could be, like it could be one of these. It could be really, really, really choppy. It could even like pull down, but ultimately I think we'll pull up. And you could have like 136.50 as your first target. And when you're looking for targets, guys, when you don't really have anything, when you're working on such a high time frame and you break through resistance, like for gold, for instance, guys. So I'm bearish on gold, right? Let me just show you something. But we don't know if it drops below this support, right? All we have right now, aside from the structure over here, we don't really have any like clean levels of support, right? Some people might say like this. Maybe, right? But I don't like it. It's kind of cutting through price a little too much. It's kind of only coming from this double bottom back in here, but ignores all of this. So I don't really like that much. What I would look for, guys, is wherever we do start to see price, wherever we do see one of these happen, coming up and then ultimately go down, or, wherever, maybe up here or higher, wherever, right? I'm going to fib it and I'm going to look for the extension. Okay, so I'm going to go to the bottom and then I'm going to go to the top wherever we make that top at. Okay, so let's say like it does respect price action nicely. It comes up and retests the 1200 level and then ends up dropping again, right? If we make another top, or what you would call a lower high, right? As we come down, we make a series of lower highs. Right? Slowly but surely it inches its way down. Right now, eventually we'll make, and then you could call this maybe a high, and then eventually we'll make another high somewhere around here or like around here. If we make a high around here, then you ignore, these, but you're still lower than this high. So you're still in a bearish trend, right? Even if it went to like right there. Then I would just fib that out, right? If it went all the way up to there, I would fib that out, okay? If it pulls all the way up to here and then starts coming down again, then we're going to look at the extension. We're going to say, okay, now we know 1125 is a level, okay? Or if it doesn't make as big of a pullback, then we'll have a smaller target. The reason why Fibonacci extensions are so effective, guys, is because the market moves in waves, like the higher it goes up, that just means the harder it's going to come down. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like a spring, I guess. Like you're springing price up, and then it's just going to like just shoot. So it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a hard concept, and that's why most traders fail, is because they sell at the wrong time and buy at the wrong time, right? They sell when they should be buying and buying when they should be selling, because the market is very deceitful, right? It's very plays tricks on your mind, right? So you have to just have experience, basically. You have to just not lose all your money before you learn, right? And that's the key, guys, is demo, or don't risk what risk what you can afford to lose. So that way you can build a good strategy, right? Because this is such a powerful tool, guys. Trading is not hard if you just actually discipline yourself and you actually like want to learn, right? So let's move on to, we looked at USD JAPI, right? If we have a pullback, we could fib something like this out and we could look at our different levels. And it all is based on momentum, guys. Momentum, right? It depends on what happens today and tomorrow. It kind of will set the tone for the whole week. If we're going to break resistance, or if we're going to be pretty bearish. All right, let's go in the chat real quick. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so at the top, Brian, you said, so back office is simply my Forex login. No, when I say it gets uploaded to your back office, I'm talking about the back office on the Positive Traders website, like your account with Positive Traders. Like you can go access all of our private trainings and daily live sessions and everything. But if you're talking about your back office for your account, then yeah, that would be the My Forex one. Mustafa, you're asking what's the R1 and R2 that you see. Those are daily pivot points. So like the stuff that you see on the 4-hour, you won't see it on the daily. These are just key levels, right? It's not it just helps you like get a gauge of where price is at, right? You know, essentially looking at this, you have the pivot point right here. You know that we're underneath the daily pivot. So for the day right now, or, you know, the short term, we have a negative bias on it. So I have a strategy, guys, that I use on lower time frames, like the 5-minute, the 15-minute lower time frames to scalp on, using things like the moving averages and pivot points. Just it's confluence trading, guys. It's using everything. It's using the direction of the current trend, price action, the formations that are happening on the lower time frames, and based on the placement of the pivot points. And like I'm not gonna buy this pair right now because we're below the pivot point. Okay, so that's just to kind of give you an example of how I use it to gauge. Right. However, that being said, right, if we come all the way down here to S3, support 3, right, resistance and support, right, that's the S and the R, right, we have this major support over here. If we break something like that, then maybe we'll look to sell the pair. Not maybe, we will look to sell the pair at that point. Don't get overwhelmed by things like that. You know, just focus on higher time frames, in my opinion. Focus on just trading the direction of the trend, because scalping comes once you learn how to trade. You know how to scalp, right? Scalping is just like long-term trading. You have to do your analysis a lot faster. That's the reason why scalping is more difficult than long-term trading, in my opinion, is because you have to use everything that you know like very quickly, right? You have to process everything, and you have to do all your analysis very quickly when you're scalping. Brian, you said, thank you. You said, I need to start making trades myself. You said you made only about $15 last month on a $500 deposit. Is that expected? That's not, you know, let me put it this way, Brian. And this is to everybody too. Everybody that's coming in and looking for like a big return, right? You have to like learn your art. So if you're new to Forex and you're making money right off the bat, you're already in a very, very small percentage, even if it's only $15, okay? Because most people blow their accounts. But make sure that, that's the key, guys, is it's all about low risk compounding. So $15 back on $500 is a little bit lower than, you know, someone might like. 5%, like around 25% is good. But keep in mind, you aren't going to have like if you're talking about the auto trader isn't going to have, the trade copier isn't going to have 5 to 10% every single month consistently. You know, like this month we might finish off the month with, you know, plus 4%. And then next month we might finish off with like plus 12%, right? And absolutely destroy it. And then next month the month after that might be plus 6%, right? Fitting in it. So you have to remember the market moves up and down, right? Just because we have a target doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be met every single month, but consistency is key. Brian, you're saying, and that, so you ask, if I increase my deposit to $2,000, can I expect to get $70 per month in the auto trader account to cover my monthly fee while I learn? I can't say yes or no. I can't promise anything, right? The markets are the markets. I aim for 5 to 10% a month. So ideally, if you put in $2,000, I'd like to be giving you returns of, $100 to $200 back, right? Or more. Okay. But definitely if you guys are jumping into trading, or you guys definitely don't join the premium group if the only thing on your guys' mind is like how quick you'll get the money back, because really, guys, what I give out is more than just signals. It's education too. You just shouldn't even be really investing unless you have what you're doing. So you should look at it I just look at it like when you go to college, right? You go to college and you pay tens of thousands of dollars to go to college, or at least thousands of dollars, right? If you go to like a community college or something. And you go to university for 4 years and you get like a degree that'll make you, $60K, $70K a year. And you paid a ton of money to learn that, right? You can make unlimited amounts of money. There's no limit to how much you can make with Forex. And you have people like myself that are only charging, $69 a month. There are people out there, like real mentors, real people that learn how to trade, right, guys? I do a daily live session every single day. So if you guys are wanting to learn to trade on your own, Brian, and you want to take trades on your own, definitely make sure you guys are catching the daily live sessions, and you guys have, you have to just have a passion for trading to be successful. But yeah, guys, if all I'm saying is, if all you have is like dollar signs in your eyes, you're probably going to fail at Forex, right? You have to focus on the process. You have to learn, right? It's like a doctor. I say this all the time. It's like a doctor, right? You don't see a doctor graduating high school and then going into the operating room with a scalpel doing brain surgery, right? They go to school for a really, really long time to learn their art. So I wouldn't compare trading to brain surgery necessarily. Trading is, I would say, a lot easier than brain surgery probably, but it's the same principle, right? You have to, you get what you get out of it, what you put into it. But guys, it's about that. It's that learning process, And so that's pretty much all. Oh, let's see. So let's just wrap it up, guys. USD CAD. I believe it's going to break the 50% level. Wait for it too, and then we'll buy. I'll be a buyer after it breaks the 50%. But we do have a nice uptrend going. We just have some good momentum to the upside. Oil, I wouldn't even touch oil right now, guys. There's OPEC meetings this week. They're going to be talking about if they are serious about cutting production on oil or cutting back on it. So I think that this isn't a week to be trading oil. And I don't trade oil myself personally. I don't give out trades for oil. I just like to look at it in comparison to USD CAD. But lately they haven't been moving very respectively of each other. Wow, you guys can see the pullback in gold already. Just since we've been on this webinar, it's already gone up 50 pips. Pretty intense. So that's what I mean, guys, is the momentum, right? Markets are very volatile right now. So we're just going to see where it goes up to. And then see, it might just shoot through 1200, might come all the way back up and test the 1220s, 1230s again. Ultimately though, guys, like I said, I think it's going to go down lower. All right. So guys, that's pretty much all I have. You guys know I don't condone taking a trade right when the market's open. Right, let's let the markets breathe a little bit. Let them unwind from the weekend. Let things like what's happening in gold, and I'm sure all the other pairs are probably moving. Yep, you see Euro USD. skyrocketing right now. So we'll watch price action moving into the London session. Just to give you an example, work on lower time frames, guys. When we're talking about a possible reversal this week on last week's trends, work with the lower time frames. Look where your structures are at. Look where your highs are at, right? If we can break through 106.45, right, and we can close above it, we can start to see some movement above it. Then we might start to see it push up into like the 108.60 area, okay, which is ideally where we want to look to sell again. But you guys have to wait for confirmation, right? Just because it looks, and this is what I mean, guys. This is where so many new traders lose money, right? Just because right now I'm like, if it breaks 106.45 and goes up, a lot of you guys in your heads, because I've been there, done that too, right? I've been on people's webinars when I was new to trading, right? I would take their analysis for like rock solid analysis, right? Like some of you guys are probably hearing me say this, and in your mind, you guys are probably like, okay, I need to buy Euro USD. It doesn't necessarily mean buy your Euro USD because we do have a pretty significant top here. There's nothing stopping this hour from closing right here. In the next hour, like completely dropping down, right? It's Sunday. Anything can happen. And this is resistance. Now, if we break through it, guys, that is the key word, is the break and close. That's your confirmation. Is it has to close, right? There's no, if it spikes up, if it goes all the way up here, or something crazy in an hour, just an exaggeration, and then closed back here, okay, just because it broke 106.45 doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go up. It needs to have conviction. So you have to have conviction behind the trade. It needs to close above it. If it makes an exhaustion candle, then that's actually, a sign to the downside. Okay. So it could go one of two ways. So the market's always either going to go up or down. You want to make sure you're looking for confirmation, guys. Don't jump into a trade just to get, the juices flowing, just to get the excitement. Go play some poker, go to the casino or something. If you like to feel the rush, just focus on the trades and focus on the process, guys, and the pips, and focus on the pips, and the money will seriously just like fall in. It's crazy, guys. But that's pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate it. I think I've pretty much covered every pair except AUD USD. I can do one more reload. We'll see what happens. Let's see, AUD USD. There we go. Okay, it did actually get fixed. So something I wanted to talk about on AUD USD, guys, is that we talked about this being our potential long-term sell if we do see a good setup to sell in this area. I've been talking about this line especially last week, right? We talked about last week selling if it touched this line, which it actually ended up touching it. That might have been the only opportunity that we're going to get on that pair to sell for now. Okay, the momentum, it is making a series on lower time frames, right? It is making a series of higher lows. All right, so it could push up higher. That's one that I wanted to talk about. And that goes in, and that's because NZD USD, guys. You have to remember, NZD USD and AUD USD move very, very closely. So you can kind of use one to help gauge how you're going to trade the other. All right, because NZD USD formed this morning star down here, like literally formed an evening star looking like it was going to drop. Now it formed a morning star, which is a reversal sign, right? That's kind of the catalyst for my bias shifting a little bit on AUD USD. All right, I was hoping to get a sell around this area. We haven't called it yet. Good, we haven't lost any money on this trade or on this pair yet. And again, guys, it's Sunday, right? It very well could just keep dropping, or it could come up and then bounce higher. All right, we're gonna see what happens, but we are definitely gonna get in. I think that these two pairs could offer some good risk to reward this week. But that's it, guys. If you guys have any questions, post it in the chat room. If you guys are new, I just want to kind of recap or just kind of cover what I do in the premium group. So if you guys are a part of the premium group, I give out 5 to 10 signals every single week. I think last week was one of the first weeks I didn't give out at least 5 signals because it was Thanksgiving and banks were closed. And also because I didn't want to give back all of our losses to the markets, right? We had a 250 pip trade on the pound yen that everybody should have been in. It was posted for over 12 hours. So I think everybody should have profited on that. But so this week we have a bunch more signals coming just as usual. I want to finish off the month strong. Okay, guys, last week in the premium group, net profit was over 200 pips, and the week before that was net profit over 300 pips. So we've caught over 500 pips in the premium group off of the official signals in the past 2 weeks. I really want to finish off this week strong, or in this month strong, and just this year strong. I want to come into, people always talk about the winter not being a good time to trade, or, it's crazy, but it's the only reason it can get crazy is because there's lower liquidity, right? But I still think that there's opportunities year round. We just have to be careful, right? We always have to just manage our risks properly. So I want to finish off the year strong. And guys, I also do an auto trader or a trade copier, however you want to call it. It is set up on a managed account. I manage about 140 people's accounts, and it just completely copies the trades that I take. I set the risk for you. You can visit my website to learn more about it, but it's complete hands-free trading. And then my favorite, guys, is the daily analysis. I basically just do this, what I just did here, every single weekday, Monday except for Fridays. So Monday through Thursday, I do that. It's something I just started a couple weeks ago, and I'm loving it. I love getting on and sharing my analysis with you guys, like more than once a week or more than twice a week. I love doing it daily. You guys can get a feel for like my style of trading. And then of course, you guys know from the premium group, we talk about any trades that we're currently in, if we are in any. We talk about managing the trade once we're in it, if it happens to fall under when I'm doing a live trading session. So if you guys want to visit, or if you guys want more information, just visit our website. It is positivetraders.us. And you can kind of find all the information on here. We have a MyFX book. We have a whole trade history of all the trade calls in the premium group in our Dropbox. Okay, if you guys actually come on, go to your browser, and I'll put this in the chat room for you guys too, but bit.ly/PT Dropbox. All right, I'll put it in the chat for you guys, and you can go and see our trade calls. And more importantly, if you guys are trying to learn, okay, so I just dropped that link in the chat for you guys. If you guys are trying to learn, there's some amazing books, guys. I can't stress enough about how amazing these books are, guys. Like, if you're struggling to learn price action, you're struggling to build a strategy for yourself, face the facts. It's probably that you aren't doing any education. You're probably like procrastinating, putting the education in. And guys, like, one of these books, you just read one of these books and it'll change your trading. It'll honestly change your trading. Like, it'll make it and it'll increase it by tenfold at least, guys. These are such amazing books. And the reason is because they teach you strategies that you can take through any market, right? Price action, I believe, is one of the only strategies that you can take through ups or downs, right? You can't always, sometimes it'll look like you can build a strategy off of, if you see like the moving averages doing something, or RSI doing something, or, divergence in stochastics or whatever, right? But you guys have to keep in mind, right? If there was like a legit strategy, right, where you just buy when you see something on the charts happen, then everybody would be millionaires, right? If RSI was 100% effective, then everybody would be millionaires. But the truth is, guys, is like those types of indicators are all lagging, and they aren't going to produce long-term results, like consistent long-term results time over time. You have to add in something live, right? Like listening to the live markets, like price action. So these will teach you, these three will teach you at least price action. This one's on Fibonacci. So it very, very advanced training on Fibonacci, goes very in detail. But yeah, guys, that's the Dropbox for you. And this is our website. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get off, as I mentioned earlier, in about an hour, guys, for premium members. If you guys are new in the premium group, if you guys are new to the premium group and you're new to Forex, I'm holding a private webinar in about an hour to kind of like help you guys out that are new to the group, kind of like set up your charts, talk about the basics of Forex and things like that. If Yanni asked, can I share the book on Fibonacci? Yep, it's right here. It's in the Dropbox. It's the top one right there, How to Master Fibonacci Trading. But that's all I've got for you guys. All right, and look at that. See what I said with Euro USD? You have to wait for confirmation. You got to wait for it to pop out, because if you buy at the top right there, that doesn't necessarily mean just because I think and it looks like it's going to start to go up. It doesn't necessarily. It needs to break resistance for the confirmation, right? That's all I got, guys. I appreciate every one of you guys. This will be thrown up on YouTube. You guys have a wonderful trading week. Remember, keep your risks low. Don't risk more than 2% per trade. Don't go crazy with the over leverage. Be careful of Mario Draghi speaking tomorrow, and be careful of NFP on Friday, guys. But have a safe week, guys. I will catch you guys on Slack and Telegram. Have a good one.